Hi, my name is Richard Wilmot and I'm a Partner Solution Architect here at AWS. Today I'm joined by Woltter Xavier from DNX Solutions and Joe Vartuli from CreditorWatch. And we're going to be discussing how DNX helped CreditorWatch achieve their goals by leveraging modern DevOps practices. Let's start with Woltter. Woltter, could you tell us something a bit about who you are and what you actually do at DNX Solutions, please?
Hi everyone, so I'm Solutions Architect at DNX. My role is being a bridge between the technical and technology solutions to business outcomes. So I will assist business to translate business outcomes pretty much to the technical drivers within these teams, and we design and implement scalable and cost-effective solutions on AWS for our customers.
Nice, thanks so much. And Joe, how about yourself?
Thanks for having me, Richard. So I'm the CTO at CreditorWatch, and my role there is primarily focused on obviously the tech and the operational excellence of that technology. CreditorWatch is a commercial credit bureau. We started about 13 years ago, and during that period, we've become Australia's largest commercial credit bureau with over 50,000 customers.
Oh, nice, fantastic. So as what is effectively a mature fintech, what were the specific challenges that made you realize you needed to engage a partner like DNX Solutions?
Yeah, so for us, at a point where you've got your sales kind of expanding rapidly and kind of knocking on your door for features that our customers need, we've got our marketing team that's building up their pipeline and that funnel exponentially, and then product obviously really hot on the heels to be able to deliver as fast as possible. CreditorWatch was looking at a technology to be able to increase our productivity and efficiency of our developers to be able to push out products and features faster than ever.
Nice. So you actually found that in order for you to level up, you needed to unblock around that operational excellence pillar.
Yeah, it's something that you never stop doing. It's a continuous improvement.
Of course.
But for us, we kind of got to the point where we're looking for someone that had been there and done that.
Right.
So a company a partner that could come in and actually help us get there. And they've been there. They've made those sort of mistakes before. They've learned each time they go into a new customer, they learn another practice, another viewpoint. So for us, with our own DevOps team that were fairly experienced, we were looking for a team to come in and kind of leapfrog us to that end solution.
Excellent. So leveraging the experience from a partner like DNX would help you get through that next point.
Correct.
Perfect. So Woltter, in light of what Joe's described, what are your typical experiences with development teams? Does this align with what you normally see?
Yeah, even though CreditorWatch is a very mature fintech, in terms of operations, with separate product teams for their releases, the infrastructure layer also has to follow up the methodology of streamline infrastructure with the application. So DevOps breaks down these teams and brings the sense of ownership for developers to own the infrastructure layer as well. So things like service cataloging or remapping the release, quality assurance during the release processes, how many environments they will be required in this stage, and finding out low-hanging fruits like pilot applications to engage the team into the DevOps culture is fundamental. That's what we see very often within the customers that we engage with.
Nice. So I think when we were speaking earlier, Joe, you mentioned a great deal about how you viewed DevOps as very much an enablement journey. And I think we also spoke about how DNX was engaged in a migration, but also a transformation of your business. We'd like to go a little bit deeper about what that enablement meant to you as that customer.
Yeah, so look, from my perspective, DevOps is about the enablement of that operational excellence. So, CreditorWatch was already on AWS. And so from that perspective, we didn't need a partner to come in and help us design or do the transformation of what you would think of a typical 3-tier architecture.
So it wasn't so much about the technical enablement, it was more about that operational enablement.
The DevOps component, specifically, because we could already scale horizontally, and so if there's other customers out there kind of questioning, well, why would I bring a partner in when I've already got a DevOps function and I can already scale? From my perspective, what we were trying to do was have that DevOps enablement to allow our engineers to spin up infrastructure, knowing that there was already a base framework ready to go. So from my perspective, there's already a security component
already built into what
it's already
you're doing.
baked into that process.
So those guardrails are there so your team can run faster.
You've got your quality components in terms of quality insurance testing, maybe some penetration testing. But then even when you go from someone's laptop all the way out through to production, we've got the monitoring component. So the piece that would sit there and automatically alarm and perform rollbacks when there was an issue that had occurred in production. All of these sort of things, all these operational excellence increases the productivity of your developers, and you're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants. So it's leveraging that next level to be able to increase that efficiency.
And a lot of that's about, as a business needing to address your customer needs, you've got to respond faster. And the faster you can respond, the better. Fantastic. So, Woltter, if we could turn to you. DNX has a great deal of expertise, but you also have got a fair amount of technology that you bring to bear. Talk us through the DNX Foundation and how it applies to the CreditorWatch project.
The DNX Foundation is a better-proof platform for customers. So customers as CreditorWatch that leverage this foundation, they are sure that it's being production, it's being live with another infrastructure, so they know it's reliable, and it's having the work that the pillars into consideration when we build it. And not just the technology itself, we engaging with CreditorWatch for the enablement is when to apply those techniques. So we have different flavors of deployments, for instance. Which kind of deployment will be suitable for that level of maturity and when, and building this roadmap with the teams. So sometimes the developers can be very excited with new tech. It's just a matter of when to implement that. It's the right moment. How do we experiment with something similar just to improve quality of software? How do we release it? For instance, we can have ephemeral environments that saves in cost, but it's the right time to implement that. Let's start with another flavor of deployment. Things like that is very important because we can compare with another journey. It's not the CreditorWatch journey, it's the journey with DNX helping other customers. So when we engage in this kind of enablement, it's not just a solutions architect in place, it's the whole DNX team backing up these decisions. So they leverage the experience that we retain as IP in our products.
Nice. So effectively your technology products leverage that experience that Joe is looking for, and that's what enabled you to run faster at DNX to help CreditorWatch run faster as a customer.
100%. Yeah.
Nice. Now that's a fantastic story. So let's talk about the engagement process, how DNX goes about doing this, because I think we mentioned there was that migration component and modernization transformation, but you were taking CreditorWatch on that journey. You weren't taking, coming in, doing the job and leaving. This was very much a collaboration. It was a partnership that you're on. So take us through that journey and how you engaged and took Joe's team on the journey.
Yeah, it started with, as you said, with the foundation in place, and then from the foundation you get the flavor of platform that you're going to use. Consider your current workloads, the team expertise. From there, we identify the low-hanging fruits, which are applications with low complexity but higher business impact, to get the team onboarded in the journey. And then from there, it's just a matter of running waves of releases from processes to application. Could be a wave of experimenting with a single product team with a new way of releasing software. One of these teams will be the candidate to first experiment this new type of CI/CD. So the journey really varies depending on how the team is engaged, how they are onboarded with the new solutions. It's not a part of the which access they are going to have or which technology we are going to use.
Right.
It's just about the destination, which is enable DevOps in some point. And the metrics can be faster time to markets, like how often you deploy. Things like that give us a glance of when DevOps has been really enabled in CreditorWatch. And that's why we collected these metrics before engaging.
So you can provide that very clear before and after to demonstrate that impact.
Yeah, and then you can demonstrate with numbers. But the clear impact is when you work with the team. So nowadays, CreditorWatch has a capable DevOps team to run the operations in the infrastructure layer and support the product teams to release their applications.
Now, Joe, Wolter's taken us through a lot of that technical detail. What I'd love to hear from yourself is, how do you as the customer experience that journey? Because I think Wolter's given us some very technical steps, but what was it like to experience that? What was the journey that your team went on?
Yeah, so look, I guess when you've already got a DevOps team and an engineering team, I think the initial thoughts that would go through the mind is fear straight away. It's fear, and from my perspective, it's about taking them along the process that they're actually here to complement you, to help you get to that next phase, to kind of skip those same things. I had 100% confidence.
You mentioned leapfrog before.
Yeah. I had 100% confidence that my team could have gotten to that point. But it's about speeding up that process, getting to that end faster. The first time you use any new technology for the first time or try a new process out for the new time, you're always going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You bring in that wisdom. So when Wolter and the team came into CreditorWatch, it was very much a paired process where let me understand what your environment's doing. Let's have a look through it. What do you think? Let's interview the developers. What are their pain points in terms of the release process? Then tailoring a solution to us, but knowing that Wolter and the team weren't there to retain the knowledge and walk out. It was hey, this is how we should build it. Here's all the documentation, and that work would actually get farmed out to our DevOps team, and then our DevOps team actually take that to that next level. So when Wolter and the DNX team exit, I've got a really capable team to take it.
You've actually leveled up both your team as well as that operational excellence and process that you had. Fantastic. I think that's a really great story. And part of the key value proposition of DNX Solutions is very much their strong capability around regulatory and compliance specific workloads. What are the challenges that you had around that with your workload? Because obviously you're dealing with an awful lot of highly sensitive data and information. How important was it that you had a partner like DNX who deeply understood the compliance space?
Yeah, extremely important. They did come back, and from the way I actually found DNX was through a referral network of myself.
Right.
So I had spoken to quite a few other CTOs and VPs that had used a partner, and a big chunk of them came back with DNX. And when it came to the regulatory component, they had a lot of pre-existing experience, whether that's with PCI, ISO, or even the CDR components there. So from that perspective, it made me feel a lot more comfortable.
It gave the comfort that they weren't. This wasn't their first project.
This
they
wasn't
actually
their
brought
first
that experience.
time. Because like every technology stack has their own twist or spin on it. So from our perspective, being ISO compliant and having to go through and make sure we're conforming to a lot of our SOC 2 principles as well, we needed someone that already knew those principles and what they look like.
Take you on that journey faster too. So it's interesting. So you spoke about the value being more agility, faster time to market with those guardrails as well. Were you able to accelerate those compliance requirements as well as a result of leveraging DNX and the technology?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the tech stack that we actually did move into as well made that management all that easier. So moving to Fargate, so we didn't have to worry about hardening of images and
because you're leveraging that from the platform.
Correct. Those, ensuring that all of our services had the new WAFs instead of WAF 2 instead of WAF Classics. There was a lot of those components that made it a lot easier. And so when we actually came time to get our audit done, which actually we just went through in March, it was really easy to plug in our current provider. It did the scan, and everything came up.
Fantastic.
Green lights.
And we know certainly that audit component can be very costly in terms of both time and resources, and also distraction from you delivering to your customers. So leveraging that expertise and also that technology from DNX allowed you to accelerate that as well? Yeah,
so I guess everyone's probably heard the saying, we're not in the business of security, we're in the business of delivering products. So if we can offload that to somebody else, then
who isn't the business of security,
who isn't the business, who is in that business of just security a component, and really allow us to focus on what we do best, and that is deliver credit risk management insights for customers. That's going to be ending a great result for our customers.
Perfect. I think just coming back full circle, what are the things which you have been enabled to do as a result of engaging with the DNX? What's the so what of the engagement?
Yeah, so look, I think we kind of touched on them a little bit, but from my perspective, our developers are now able to spin up. So, think about infrastructure as a service. Mm-hmm. We kind of mentioned the fact that our developers now are able to spin up these services overnight, bringing up a brand new environment.
But knowing that it's safe and secure.
Knowing that it's safe and secure, and like we kind of mentioned before, going through those quality control gates as well. At each stage. But then on top of that, you think about what's it like from a customer perspective. Well, we can now monitor in real time and have automatic rollbacks without any intervention. So if you think about it from that perspective, a customer very rarely gets to see an issue when it gets deployed into production because we've already detected that and actually rolled back.
You finding out the issues way before your customer does obviously dramatically improves the customer experience.
Yeah, and sometimes even before our developers know, because our systems have picked it up and then
because you've got that observability in.
Right.
That's fantastic. And I think that's just fantastic because ultimately it's about meeting your customers' needs and also exceeding their expectations as well. That's fantastic. Thank you. Woltter, I think just before we close, can you take us through how we can get in touch with DNX Solutions? What is the best way to engage with you and the organization?
Sure. The best way is through our website, dnx.solutions. So you can find our offerings and contact us. And also you can reach out through the description of the video. There will be the DNX website where you can get the case studies. You're going to get experience what we've done at CreditorWatch, for instance.
Nice.
There's a nice case study there that you can go through.
I think you've actually got 2 case studies for CreditorWatch, haven't you? I read through. Fantastic. That's great. Brilliant. Well, Joe, Woltter, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope this has been a great experience. It's been educational for me, learning more about the journey that you've taken with DNX, and thank you very much for sharing.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.